Shintarō is stunned to meet a vampire after encountering so many mythical beings. Suddenly, the girl's colored lens falls out, revealing her real eye color. She hilariously tries to justify that running dried out her eye. She removes her eye patch to show her other red eye, claiming it's proof of her bloodlust and that she's a vampire. But then her other lens falls out, and she grumbles about how expensive they are. Shintarō realizes he's been tricked and that he's met another crazy person. Still, he can't leave her alone, so he asks if he can accompany her home or to the police station. She suggests a nearby safe place. Soon, they arrive at a maid cafe where Lilishka works. She wants to repay Shintarō for his help and asks him to wait inside while she changes. Shintarō, feeling awkward and unsure if high school students can enter a maid cafe, leaves in a hurry, saying goodbye. At home, Shintarō tells Towa about the girl who pretends to be a vampire and says she have a protagonist syndrome. He says goodnight and they both go to sleep. Suddenly, someone appears on his balcony. Shintarō wakes up to find Lilishka licking his neck, preparing to bite. He screams and turns on the light. Towa wakes up and sees a girl in a vampire outfit. Shintarō quickly explains it's the girl from earlier. He asks Lilishka how she got there. She explains she tracked his scent because she's never been so attracted to someone's smell before, and she cuts a hole through the balcony window to get in. Shintarō tells her to leave, but she insists on getting one last lick or sniff of his neck. Shintarō is shocked at how crazy and creepy she is, but also wonders how she climbed onto the balcony. Meanwhile, Towa is excited to see a vampire for the first time. Shintarō insists Lilishka is just pretending, but then she flaps her bat wings, proving she's actually a vampire. Faced with the evidence, Shintarō believes her but wants to know why she was wearing contact lenses. She explains she's a Japanese vampire, but wanted to be a European vampire. She strikes a JoJo pose and declares she's Lilishka, which Shintarō and Towa introduce themselves and respond. After everyone is introduced, Shintarō tries to push Lilishka out again, but she asks to nibble on his neck before leaving. Shintarō is baffled and asks if she bit him while he slept. She replies that she only licked his neck because she doesn't do things without permission. She adds that as a last-generation vampire, she doesn't need blood to survive and can drink any red liquid, like grape juice. So, Shintarō searches for grape juice in the fridge, but Lilishka can't hold back and jumps on him, trying to nibble his neck. In the end, she decides to stay the night, insisting on just putting the tip of her teeth on his neck. Towa cries in fear, thinking Lilishka will eat Shintarō. The next day, Shintarō wakes up and notices Lilishka is gone. Towa remembers that bad things happen to vampires in sunlight. Shintarō worries Lilishka has turned to ashes, and Towa panics, saying she won't vacuum just to be sure. At school, Shintarō remembers the maid cafe where Lilishka works and plans to check if she's okay. Suddenly, Tsutsumi comments that Shintarō doesn't look well. He explains he didn't sleep well. She thinks it's the stress of final exams next week, shocking Shintarō because he forgot about the exams due to all the craziness. At lunchtime, Shintarō goes to the cafeteria, and Shuichi asks him to get a pudding for him. Shintarō gets his food but decides to eat at a nearby bench since he's starving. While enjoying his rice bowl, he feels a lick on his cheek. Shintarō is shocked to find it's Lilishka. He complains that she isn't allowed at school, but Lilishka reveals she also studies there in class 2. Lilishka explains she followed his scent to find him. Shintarō wonders if she's a vampire or a dog, but is relieved she didn't turn to ashes. Lilishka says she doesn't like the sun, but won't turn to ashes because of it, which is why she wears a hoodie. Shintarō invites her to sit in the shade, and Lilishka is happy he finally believes her. Lilishka explains she left last night without notice because he and Towa were sleeping, and she needed to go home and change into her uniform before school. She says she'd like to come back to Shintarō's house tonight, but he makes it clear he doesn't want that to happen again. Suddenly, Shintarō remembers he promised to take the pudding to Shuichi. He quickly says goodbye to Lilishka and rushes to the classroom. Shuichi feels blessed to get the pudding and thanks Shintarō. Shintarō asks Tsutsumi if she knows a girl named Lilishka from class 2, with blue hair and a hoodie with rabbit ears. Tsutsumi has no clue, but another classmate says she's actually called Kagami and introduced herself as a vampire, which everyone thought was funny and cute. Meanwhile, Lilishka is eavesdropping outside the door and seems hurt when Shintarō turns his face to avoid eye contact. After school, Tsutsumi offers to let Shintarō copy her notes for the exam. Shintarō is excited and agrees to go to the library with her. Tsutsumi is proud of herself for asking Shintarō out without fumbling her words. But her plan is interrupted when a bat flies through the window and asks Shintarō to follow him urgently. Shintarō says goodbye to Tsutsumi and runs after the bat. Noel sees him passing by and gets curious. Shintaro eventually reaches the door of the occult research club. Lilishka bursts out and says she's been waiting for him. Inside, Lilishka strikes a JoJo pose again and orders Shintaro to become her servant now. Shintaro simply says nope, and Lilishka asks why not. She argues he will have the privilege of having a super cute bat as his superior and an invitation to her birthday next month. Shintaro, shocked, asks why she suddenly wants him to be her servant. Lilishka confesses she was hurt when he said she couldn't come to his house. She feels like Shintaro is avoiding her and wants to avoid people knowing they know each other. Crying, she says she felt an unforgettable scent for the first time in her life and thought it was destiny for them to meet. She wants to become his master, so he has no choice. Lilishka loses her temper and advances to sniff Shintaro, but Noelle and Satsumi fall into the room, revealing they were eavesdropping. They are horrified to see a flying vampire. Neither Noelle knew vampires existed, nor did Lilishka know snow women were real. In a corner, Satsumi feels the competition for Shintaro's attention has increased with another mythical being in the mix. Lilishka apologizes for causing trouble by following Shintaro's scent and pursuing him. She begins to cry, saying she just wanted to be Shintaro's friend. Hearing this, Noelle understands how Lilishka feels. This makes Shintaro retract his words and allow Lilishka to visit his house occasionally, which calms her down. Noelle takes advantage of the moment and asks if she can also visit his house. Satsumi would love to invite herself too, but doesn't have the courage to ask.